Defensive end, her ability to block shots with her length, move her feet, guard away from the basket. They're going to need her to be aggressive and to get to the
back-to-back wins. They've held all 6 of their foes to 56 points or fewer. Tara Lawson, recently named USA Basketball Women's National Team head coach. Raven Johnson gets us started.
And right here, you're going to see a heavy dose of this Tessa Edwards screen. Right there, Tessa off the mark, but Dawn emphasizes getting the ball in the paint, making sure that you establish yourself and your dominance, and it starts right there.
Taina Mayer with the basketball. She runs the show for Duke. They have struggled offensively.
And Jackson is going to have to be aggressive. Obviously getting to the paint on that one, trying to draw the foul, but they need Jackson to do what she did last year in the NCAA tournament, set the tone on the offensive end.
They rely heavily on her three-point shooting. An empty trick for South Carolina. Here's Mayer crossing over in transition, and she puts it through.
And Mayer getting that one to go. South Carolina missing the mark on this end, having to be in transition. Duke taking advantage. I like that early push in transition.
A deep touch here. Early block. Medina Okote inside for South Carolina.
And Okote, you talk about the front court depth of South Carolina. SEC has been established by post players. South Carolina doing their fair share of making sure that it is tough on a nightly basis to face them.
Okote, a senior center by way of Mississippi State. She's got the rebound here.
And I would love if Toby would put the ball on the floor and attack that closeout. Okote does not want to guard her going to the basket.
Joyce Edwards on the baseline. Extra pass. Johnson from the slots. Comes up short. Mayer will drive the issue here. Boards it, brings it. They post early. Fournier gets left shoulder and scores.
And right there, a double post up. Great seal. Great offensive transition buckets for Duke early, which will open up things and give your teammates more confidence when you're struggling from the field.
Edwards dared to fire, and she misses. Another rebound for the guard. Taina Mayer. The right idea, wrong execution. Gamecocks get a steal. Edwards on the move. She splits 2 and gets 2.
And Edwards right there, just on full display. Her offensive bag, as you call it, just always calm, cool, and under control. Euro step.
I call it? Like, you think I can get away with being that cool in her bag in Las Vegas?
You can call it that.
With your permission, as Delaney Thomas scores.
Permission. She keeps doing things like that. That's in her bag.
Raven Johnson among the program's top 10 in career assists. Nia Latson with a scoring jolt through the transfer portal. Led the nation last year at Florida State.
And Latson having to adjust to every offensive play not being called for her. South Carolina shares the ball. They move the ball, and I think, honestly, in the big scheme of things, it'll be beneficial for her to play this style.
A great start from Mayer. She misses there. Jaden Donovan had a touch on the offensive glass. Edwards could not catch the deflected pass. It goes back to Duke.
Right there, Fournier doing a great job. Second effort, making things a little difficult, but Joyce Edwards is one of those players that will consistently run rim to rim and put pressure on your transition defense.
Yay off the elbow. Puts it down the lane and through.
Right there, Fournier being aggressive, taking it to the hoop. Put pressure on the defense. Don't settle for outside jump shots.
Last year, she redefined the freshman record book in Durham. Johnson looking to the corner.
And Duke early looking like they're willing to give up contested threes as Duke gets a 3-second call on South Carolina's Okote. But Duke doing a great job, not out pressuring, kind of playing a sagging man-to-man, content with giving up a contested three-point shot to take away their interior.
Okote leading in favor of Adele Tapp defensively now. She's up top, and she helps create that takeaway. It
looked as though the ball went off of South Carolina guard foot, and that is what Mayer is pleading as the refs didn't see it.
Tackle to Latson. Back up top, Raven Johnson. Now Tessa. Johnson with 10 to shoot.
And this is where Latson's at her best. They're going to load up because they know she wants to play one-on-one. That was great defense by Mayer and Duke on that possession. Latson.
She earns it right back.
And again, Mayer just cannot get the ball past half court. Duke knowing that Latson's going to go one-on-one into shot clock. Mayer doing a great job coming over, doubling. Donovan not fouling, and Thomas getting that steal, but Mayer gave it right back.
Latson gets a look. That was right all the way. One and done for the Gamecocks. Nina Mayer's been all over that. Fourth, and tomorrow will be their 5th straight game away from home.
And you know what travels? Layups. 8 paint points early for Duke. That's where they need to live, and that's where you start feeling good.
I swear defense was the answer to that question.
Yeah, defense a little bit.
Okay, fair enough.
As Joyce Edwards gets that tough leaner to go, she's going to definitely put pressure on your defense. She's relentless in the paint. She can make things hard for your front court players.
She has 3 20-point performances already this season. Here is Ashlyn Jackson. Mayer, rise and fire. Why not? Taina Mayer. That's the kind of offensive lift Duke has been looking for.
And right there, all you have to do, as we saw in our first game, is see shots go down and then the confidence goes up.
Johnson waits for that ball screen. Cut off at the foul line. Spotting up Maddie McDaniel. Rattles out on her. One and done for the Gamecocks. Donovan with the rebound and her eyes up in transition. Delaney Thomas. Rotation over to Donovan. She doesn't want that shot. Jackson all the way to the short corner. 5 left to shoot. Jackson, late clock. Execution off the glass.
And Jackson right there, not settling, attacking the closeout and getting that nice friendly bounce off the window.
Latson has started 0 for 2 from the floor. Puts it in the hands of Johnson, who goes back to get it from Edwards. Well, 2-player game, left side. Duke wanted to travel, instead a Blue Devil foul.
Right here, Jackson doing a great job, drawing 2, finishing over Tessa Johnson with a nice kiss off the window. I love that Duke's not settling. Obviously, Mayer knocked down that 3 in the corner, but if you're Duke and you are struggling on the offensive end, you put a lot of pressure on the South Carolina Gamecocks defense if you try to hunt the paint.
So Ariana Robertson checking in for Duke, replacing Toby Fournier for the first time. Second foul shot upcoming for Joyce Edwards, who's at 64% for the young season.
And South Carolina taking its time figuring it out. They had a battle of the USC last weekend in LA, and Southern California played them tough in the first half. They were able to get away with it, causing turnovers and setting their defense. South Carolina loves to set their defense, capitalize off turnovers. So let's see what they do with Duke here early.
Thomas looking to go high-low. Oh, she threaded the needle to Robertson.
Robertson, that nice high-low action, sealing, taking on 2 defenders.
Robertson, who missed the first couple of games for Duke with that same knee injury that caused her to redshirt last year. Raven Johnson pulls and connects.
And Raven right there, if they're going to give you that much space, you step into that. That is a practice shot. She has worked on her game. She's worked on her shooting stroke.
Thomas from the top, back in the hands of Jackson, extending her range off the heel. And a rebound to Maddie McDaniel. Johnson on the run. Tough pass to Raven. Adele tacked over to screen for her. 2 minutes to go in the opening frame. Edwards, not this time. Scramble for the rebound, out to Raven Johnson. And she's fouled. With a first on Jaden Donovan.
Right here. Tack keeping the ball alive. Raven Johnson getting in on the action where the posts normally live. Guards coming in there and then doing a great job sealing numbers, high-low. Roberson, that was textbook high-low.
Raven Johnson, a senior from Atlanta. In fact, she's connected to Tanaya Latson. They were teammates at Westlake High School. Their combined record as preps, 82-2. Won 3 state championships. They won a national championship in 2021. Now they'd like to do it again in college. Mayer lost the handle on the way up. Johnson quick around the corner, scoops it up and in.
And she does a little flex on that. That's patience, poise, and then attacking that secondary defense right there. Mayer has done a good job putting pressure on South Carolina's defense, but they have to be careful. They've had a couple turnovers in these last couple trips. This is what South Carolina needs, wants to get back in this game.
I'll give the coach another steal on the defensive end for South Carolina. She's on that near side block. Pivoting through 2 defenders. Everything but the bucket for Medina Ocote. Riley Nelson in the game for the first time for Duke. Final minute of the first. Tina Mayer got him started.
Roberson with a nice pick and roll. Mayer's got to separate off of that to give her an opportunity for a roll.
Nelson missing from the mid-range. Rebound belongs to Miriam Dowda. Now on a rim run. A cut! Medina Coates. One of the top rebounders and shot blockers in the country. Showing off her offensive prowess in transition.
Ocote doing a great job rim running. Dowda with the rebound outlet. That's a way to put pressure on the front court of Duke as they've gotten within 1.
7 unanswered from South Carolina. Shot clock turned off for Mayer and Duke. Rising over the bigs. And after 1, it's a 1-point ECL. South Carolina only has 1 returning starter from a year ago, and that's Raven Johnson. So Don Staley has said we have 7 players basically who either are new or have to play a different role for us than they did with last year's team or their previous stop.
Well, obviously with Malaysia Flau'Jae transferring to LSU. Insert Latson. And right here, Duke has to be careful because South Carolina, although they didn't make you pay on that possession, you start turning it over against this defense, you're going to ignite their full court offense. Right there, Chloe Kitts with that season-ending knee injury right before the season actually began. And is out, obviously puts a lot of pressure on that front court depth, the senior leadership, but she's doing all she can to lead from the sideline.
Yeah, it can be cliche to say that an injured player is like another coach on the bench, but it sounds like, talking to Staley, that's exactly the role that she's played for this team.
Well, I was injured my freshman year, so I didn't have the luxury as Roberson knocks it down from beyond the arc. It's difficult to be on the sideline, but you have to continue to lead, you have to continue to learn, and you still have to be engaged with your teammates. And Coach Staley said Chloe Kitts is doing all of those things.
And Daniel wanted the screen, gives it over to Johnson. 9-minute mark, second quarter. Behind Ocote, unable to hit it. And that checked off a Duke knee, it looked like.
That's great hustle, but I think it went off a Duke.
That's news to Raven Johnson, I can tell you that. I got McKeer into the game, a freshman for South Carolina, staying 6'1". He's 44 coming off that screen. Latson off the crossover, hangs, but could not hit. Ocote's been everywhere.
And Ocote right there. You have guards that draw too. Your job is just to clean up the misses, and she's doing that early.
Fournier trying to use a shot fake to get around her, drove into the trees and was bailed out by the whistle.
And that's what Fournier has to do. She was able to get to the line 16 times, only connected on 9 free throws against South Florida. But when you have bigger and slower players that are guarding you, don't settle for the jump shot. Get in there and get them in foul trouble right here. As you see, she's knocked on the arm.
That was stunning, wasn't it? That last Thursday result against USF. They trailed by as many as 20. They allowed the Bulls to shoot 57% from the floor.
And this is why you play the schedule that you play. There are a number of teams that have kind of limped off into the conference play and have been able to steady the ship, as Fournier is way off the mark on those 2 free throws.
Tania Latson, driving kick. Raven Johnson couldn't pay it off. Fournier had fingertips on that rebound, but it comes away to Gowda. And a second chance opportunity for Raven Johnson and the Gamecocks.
And if you're new to watching South Carolina, second chance points they feast off of.
TNT Sports coverage of the Players Era is presented by Sam's Club. Join Sam's Club today and celebrate the season of yes. And say yes to everything you need and want for the holidays. And by DirecTV, stream DirecTV satellite free. South Carolina 9-2 all-time against Duke. They won the last 6. They met twice last season, once in December, and again in the Elite 8, with the Gamecocks winning a low-scoring affair, 54-40, to go to Tampa in the Final Four. Joyce Edwards back in the game for South Carolina. Ariana Robertson sitting for Duke after giving them great minutes off the bench. Here's Riley Nelson. Rip through drive. Good take, but no result for Nelson. On the second bite of the apple, she scores.
And Nelson being aggressive driving. Look for Latson to get going here. She's had a couple misses at the rim, a couple pull-up misses, but South Carolina needs to get her going to get that high-low in motion and give Joyce Edwards a little bit more space.
Here she is in a short clock situation. Driving the lane, dropping it off. What patience inside, and they'll count it. Have a half, Medina Coates.
And right there, Jackson slow to get up. Right here, good defense, help up by Thomas, and then a Coat just dominant thus far. Latson, nice drop-off pass to the dunker spot, and Jackson, caught in the air on that pump fake.
Chelsea, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, Dawn Staley has given Medina Ocote a lot of credit this season in helping them find their identity. She said she's so confident, she has a really high basketball IQ, and she's been a difference maker for them inside.
Fortunately here, injured attacking the offensive glass. So back-to-back players spill. First it was Jaden Donovan with her second foul. And good to see Medina popping up right away after initially looking like she was writhing in pain. I think he had the same reaction that I did, which that had the potential to be a look away type injury, but she avoids the worst. .17 to shoot as South Carolina sends it back in the half court. Got McKeer falling away. And Thomas has the defensive board for Duke.
South Carolina fouls number 25, Raven Johnson.
First on Raven Johnson.
This high screen and roll.
Nelson pours in a three.
Nelson, that looks a pretty stroke right there. But the high pick and roll between Mayer and Fournier has been successful. Nelson hanging out on the wing. That was a nice three.
Well, she's been slumping lately, so that could be an important lift for Duke, where they look to turn this season around in November. Great answer. Latson has her first hoop.
And Latson, that's just too much room. I understand she's missed early, hasn't been as efficient to start, but you cannot give her those type of looks at the hoop.
Jackson finds the high post. Thomas missed the foul shot. Tracked down by Agat McKeer. She's got the handle to bring it, too. Little touch pass. Nicely done. McKeer the assist. Okoth the bucket.
And Okoth being the beneficiary of just running and working. Fournier's got to put a body on her earlier down the floor.
South Carolina's first lead. And now they get a stop on the defensive end.
And right here, South Carolina, you want to play fast. Your transition game has been going.
Raven Johnson patient for the screen. Okoth the roller. That was deflected on the way up by Fournier.
And that was a good catch.
Slicing in transition. A travel wipes away the Jackson layup.
Thought Jackson might get away with this right here. Got to put the ball down. Yeah, shuffled her feet a little bit. That's the correct call.
So returning, checking in for the Blue Devils, their teacher of the board, Leslie Nelson.
Tessa Johnson back on the floor for Dawn Staley, and she wastes no time.
And that's what they need Tessa Johnson to do. Rain from the outside. We saw when they won the national championship, she shot well from beyond the arc. It opens up things from the outside to allow you to really dominate in the paint.
Short clock, Raven Johnson. Edwards, rhythm dribble. Duke gets a defensive stop. They've fallen behind for the first time in this opening half. They're looking for the entry. And it's a
player because you run and somebody else on the backside gets a three. But if you continue to run, it puts pressure on the front court of Duke and you're going to get rewarded. And she did early, which is what South Carolina likes to do. They need to open this thing up in the second quarter to play more of their game. It's more Duke style, slower in this first half.
Coat with 10, Raven Johnson 7, Edwards with 5. Tapped out to Raven Johnson, immediately back to Edwards. Could not hit the reverse, guess who, and one. Medina Okoth, loving Las Vegas.
And Okoth has packed her game to Vegas right here. Joyce Edwards missing the bunny. 2-3 Duke players around. Joyce misses another one. Who gets it? You gotta put a body on Okoth. Her size, her ability to find the basketball gets her to the free throw line for the and one.
So you referenced that game in Los Angeles. She went to USC and grabbed 15 rebounds, and her head coach Staley immediately said, she's part of us finding our identity in 25-26.
And right there, Fournier with a nice double bury. Don't have to make things difficult. Nice right hook.
Raven missing the pull-up after her own. Knocked away on the baseline, and South Carolina will keep it.
And I've got to think that on the scouting report, it talked about the importance of blocking out. South Carolina, they literally feast off of second chance points.
Tessa Johnson. Missing short, Thomas the board for Duke. Fournier seeing two defenders immediately on the catch. Out to Jackson, 4-minute mark, second quarter. Both teams have gone cold.
And right here, South Carolina wants to push pace.
Oh, what a jump stop. But got McKeer under control.
McKeer is one of those players in transition making great decisions, stop and pop off of 2 feet.
Top 10 recruit, McDonald's All-American. She scored a dozen in games twice already this season for South Carolina. Thomas using that eye fake to get to her left hand.
Right there, Thomas. It's been successful, that rollout, that little pocket pass where Duke's forwards are able to attack the closeout by South Carolina.
Edwards got her defender lifted. If that had gone through a coat, we would have known that it's just her day. Transition opportunity for Jackson. Slamming on the brakes. Fournier. Missing from 3. Raven Johnson tracks it down.
They missed Jordan Wood on the backside. She was wide open for the catch and shoot 3.
Edwards pops.
And I love that Joyce Edwards is continually taking shots that she knows she can make regardless of the result. She's still being aggressive.
Now her steal gets Raven Johnson out in transition, and they'll count it.
And this is where the Gamecocks could be dangerous, right here. A couple passes that don't go Duke's way. The pressure of South Carolina gets them going downhill. Right here, Joyce Edwards knocks down the nice baseline jump shot. She's just 3 of 7 today. And then right here, gets back, gets the steal, and gets her Gamecocks going downhill in transition.
Mayer against McDaniel as we resume.
And right here, that pick and roll. And Fournier with the offensive foul. Duke's got to be careful in these last 2 minutes.
It's Toby's second. Robertson in to get her in the Duke lineup.
And Robertson has played well early. Right here, definitely moving. McDaniels does a great job selling it, going under.
McDaniel with the basketball, back from a recent suspension. 2 minutes to go as Johnson misses the pull-up, tip rebounds. This is where they live. Second chance opportunities, but Dowda could not convert.
Dowda wants that back. She left that short.
Robertson, she's been a bright spot for Duke in this opening.
I love it. You got to keep putting pressure on South Carolina's front court. Go to the basket.
That's what McDaniel does.
And McDaniel with a little up and under. Sometimes a missed shot can turn into a turnover, and that's what South Carolina did. Got in their secondary. McDaniel makes them pay.
7 unanswered, now a steal. Joyce Edwards turning defense into offense for South Carolina.
And again, finishing quarters, finishing halves is crucial. South Carolina knows how to do both. They have really put their foot on the gas on the defensive end, and it has ignited and opened up this game.
Jackson missing, rebound. Edwards pushing with McKeer. The Gamecocks have flipped the script.
And all because Joyce Edwards rebounds the ball, head up, pushes it ahead, and now, just like that, it's a 13-point game.
Single digits on the shot clock. Mayer hits the brakes, missed the Flau'Jae. Back to... Maddie McDaniel will bring it off the Don Staley bench. Final 8 seconds of our opening half. Edwards rising, missing the 3. Mayer pulls it down, 2 to go. From beyond.
For the great Chelsea Gray.
Envious of those nachos.
Yeah, she's smashing them nachos though. She's not sharing those.
Tanaya Latson operating from the baseline all the way over to Raven Johnson. Great entry. I mean, listen, a coach has back-to-back double-doubles and 4 on the season, and with 3 more boards tonight, she's going to add another to her total.
JB, she started playing basketball in 2020. This is 5 years. You see those soft hands, her size, her ability to run the floor. She showed everything this first half.
Jackson trying to shed the defender. 8 left to shoot. Deflected on its way down to Fournier. Pushed all the way to the corner by a coach. Lost her balance and lost the possession.
And right here, Latson to Johnson. You can 3-quarter front, but you have to have backside help if you're Duke because Okote is just too big and too strong.
Initial post entry wasn't there, so they play through the foul line. Okote hammering that dribble. Not this time. Second chance, she scores it.
She'll just do it herself. Can't get it to her buddy on that high-low Edwards. And then gets down and gets the deflection.
Latson on the move. Nicely done in transition. Tanaya Latson brings the early timeout from Duke.
Point guards to ever play the game. Teaching her how to play that position.
Jackson pushed back out to the perimeter, midway point of the shot clock. Delaney Thomas there to screen for her. Dana Mayer, great find. Thomas gets the hoop.
And let's see if Mayer can get this Duke offense back on track. I'd like them to continue to run the offense through their posts in that short roll and try to attack the closeouts of a much bigger South Carolina front court.
Edwards able to find some airspace and spin it up and in. Low impact is how I would describe her game so far this season. She puts up big numbers, but she doesn't have to hunt shots to get them, does she?
She doesn't have to hunt shots. She plays under control, and Coach Staley just said that speaks to as Joyce Edwards comes up with the rebound. She just has a knack for the ball, a nose for the rebound. And also, in transition, Joyce Edwards being able to throw those quick outlets kind of opened this game up.
Johnson missing, Donovan pulling it down on the defensive board. Fournier, trail 3, right when Duke had to have it.
And again, I understand the Blue Devils have some dynamic guards. Jackson, you think about Mayer, but I think their post players, they have to run the offense through the post.
Edwards from Latson. Duke gets a stop. To a Fournier 3, and they build with back-to-back possessions. She's calling for it, down on the block. Fournier with a determined take, came up empty.
And Joyce Edwards knowing that Fournier likes getting to that left shoulder with that hook, not letting her in that post-up.
Latson out of the corner, gets 2 feet in the lane. Okote able to pick it up. Over 2 Duke defenders. 3-second violation.
3 seconds. Position to Duke. 4.
And right there, Okote 17 and 10 early in this second half. Solid double-double.
Fournier off to Mayer. Seeing 2 South Carolina defenders. She probes and puts it back on the perimeter with Nelson. Nelson with a tough hit and a free throw to follow.
And Latson getting in the landing space right here, if you can see on this pull-up jump shot. Nelson doing a great job, calm, cool, and collected. Gets Duke back within striking distance. We've seen how things have gone in the last game. We thought it was well over. But basketball is a game of runs, and Duke has to get this back to their pace and keep South Carolina out of transition.
Chelsea, what more do we need to know about Riley Nelson?
Yeah, I mean, you need to know that she's actually a DJ in the making. She said it's something she picked up during COVID, and next semester she's going to take a hip-hop production class taught by Grammy Award-winning producer Ninth Wonder. She says that she DJs in her room on campus, and all her teammates will come and listen to what she's mixing. As far as her favorite artist right now, it's Olivia Dean, and I think you guys just needed to know that.
Well, instead of the 1s and 2s, how about the 2s and 3s for Duke?
Right there, the ball hitting each side of the court. Mayer knocking down the huge 3 to stop the bleeding. And then what do you do if you're South Carolina? You put the ball in Joyce Edwards' hands. You allow her to operate. She's made play after play for you. She's calm, cool, collected, gets to the free throw line. But right here, previous Duke possession, Mayer, great ball movements by Thomas. They're back in this thing.
9 unanswered. Suddenly they're winning this quarter. They trim the deficit from halftime.
And sometimes teams just have to stay with it. You understand the grind they've been on the past couple weeks, losing 3 games, but you're playing the #2 team in the country. They're going to go on runs. You got to figure out ways to stop it.
A little bit of a cheating stat, right? To say that Raven Johnson is the only starter back for Dawn Staley when you have a player like Joyce Edwards, preseason All-SEC first team.
And McKeer having a great first half, back in action. Her activity really impacted things for the Gamecocks and getting some easy buckets in secondary.
Robertson off to Mayer. Fournier flashing to the foul line, whirling into a shot off the window.
Right there, she's deadly when she's able to get back to that left shoulder.
That's a 10-point game. There's the player you mentioned, McKeer, fresh off the South Carolina bench, as is Maddie McDaniel. Up and under. And she's earned 2 free throws. They're also trying to avoid seeing an angry UCLA team coming off its first loss and an overnight scout of the Bruins.
Well, a lot of people thought that UCLA was well out of that game, but they battled themselves back in. I think that they did so by being more physical. Kiki Rice getting to the paint, getting to the rim, and yeah, you're right. They're going to be mad. Coach Close is going to have them ready to play tomorrow.
Something about a lot of people made me feel like you were talking about the guy sitting next to you. As Robertson hits the 3. Duke's not out of it. They're trying to mirror that UCLA comeback.
Basketball is a game of runs. You just got to play through some.
Watching space in the floor with her dribble. Edwards settles things down for South Carolina.
Yeah, speaking of play through, definitely have to play through Joyce Edwards. She's made timely plays as well.
Great pass over the top. Fournier cashes in.
And Fournier can really impact this game with her activity. She has to be active on both ends of the floor.
Edwards inside. Now we're cooking with gas.
And I think the people want Duke to go back to Fournier. We're liking this matchup.
Up and down we go. Duke has hit its 5 last shots. Still a 10-point deficit. Mayer over to the wing. Jackson, Fournier. The hot streak ends there.
McKeer right here. This is where she's dangerous in transition.
Oh, she hit the 3, but the screen was illegal.
Right there, Tack rolled up, got the offensive foul. But here, Fournier, you run the lane, you get an early seal. Great pass. Nice bucket.
3 minutes to go in the 3rd as she sits on the Duke bench. Robertson has been a force. Nelson, contested 2, it's true.
And Nelson has definitely breathed some life into the Duke basket. She's got 10 points off the bench.
Edwards, high-low pass. That's been there all day. Medina Okoth, 19 points. Mayer hits the brakes, but could not hit the shot.
And Mayer, up until that point, had been running their offense correctly. She's got to keep running it through the post, take the shot on the backside. I think attacking the closeouts. But as a point guard, sometimes it's tough figuring out when to call your own number.
Johnson is back for South Carolina with a 10-point lead and 2:17 to go in the third. Maddie McDaniel. Coach thought about that trail three. McKeer. So an empty trip for South Carolina, and a Coach takes the foul, trying to grab an offensive board.
And Duke making the adjustment. In the first half, that was a rebound putback for Okote. This half, they're blocking her out with 3 Duke jerseys. She got the over-the-back foul on that possession.
That's a great call out. It's been the structure, the foundation of their comeback. Okote strikes back.
And Nelson, I'm with it. Keep driving in there. Make the refs make a call. I love the fact that she's being aggressive, slashing, getting to the rack.
Nelson having a breakout game. Her best of the season, 10 points. Was back-to-back Maryland Player of the Year in 2022 and 23. 5-star recruit and looking the part here in Las Vegas.
And Gamecocks got to get Tessa Johnson going. She can rain it from out beyond the arc, but in this game, she's only 0 of 1, only had 1 attempt. Gamecocks have yet to hit a 3.
They didn't get her back on the floor to build off the momentum she's built. Jackson in to replace her. Gets it back from Thomas.
The South Carolina foul's number 25, Raven Johnson, for his
Second foul on Raven Johnson. Shot clock back to 20, and Duke will send it in from the baseline. Jackson through the lane out to Mayer. Duke still can't find a shot. 10 to hoist. Mayer creating her own. Offensive rebound for the Blue Devils. Thomas back to Jackson. That's a tough 2, and she'll earn it at the line.
And Thomas getting the Blue Devils an extra possession on that hustle play. Jackson pulling up. South Carolina's got to be careful. When you foul, you're making the game slower. You're stopping the clock. You're giving Duke an opportunity to get back in this thing.
Nelson turns for Duke. Replacing Mayer. Ashley Jackson at the line.
3 fouls now on Raven Johnson, and Riley Nelson is back for Duke. It's been a sore spot for the Blue Devils so far this season. The foul line. 1 of 3 so far today. Cheer on your favorite college basketball teams with officially licensed fan gear. For the best selection of team apparel and accessories, head to shopncaasports.com today. Good trip for Jackson. She collects both.
And Jackson keeps this into single digits now, going into the fourth quarter, giving themselves a shot.
Tessa Johnson off the high screen, bodied on the block. Edwards off the bounce. She got it right in front of her bench. Joyce Edwards.
And playing at your own pace. You talk about this in the WNBA. We have one of the best in the game sitting courtside watching that does that. Joyce Edwards showing what it really means at the college level. Play at your own pace.
Jackson on the rescreen. Karam's off the iron. Nelson is there for the rebound. She has been a shot of energy for Duke in this second half.
And I've got to believe that there was a huge topic of conversation regarding second chance points. South Carolina 12, Duke taking a page out of the Gamecocks book. Hustle plays, and that has gotten them to the free throw line with a chance to put this game within single digits once again.
Looks like it's her thumb that had the cut. That was causing the blood that pushed her out of this game just momentarily. But with that wrist and that thumb taped up, she's back on the turntables and back on the floor. Latson with the left.
Right there, textbook north to south, no dribbles wasted, straight to the rack.
Shot clock turned off, Duke wants the last. They trimmed the deficit by 3 points in this third quarter. They go with 5. Jackson on the crossover, comes up short. Tip rebound, belongs to Latson, and South Carolina will take a 10-point cushion to the final.
And a knack for the ball. She's really had herself a game, and although her numbers don't jump out at you, her imprint has been all over this game to stop Duke runs.
Now, Duke offensively only had 27 points in the first half. They scored 24 in that third quarter alone. Only more of the same here to overtake the Gamecocks. Jackson off 1 foot. That was sweet.
And Jackson, up until that point, just 1 of 10 from the field. They needed that one to go. I'm glad that she's staying aggressive because Duke needs her to fill it up in the fourth quarter.
Latson looking back outside. Tessa Johnson's been relatively quiet today. Facilitating in the half court. Edwards to Coates. Working on a double-double and adding 2 to her total.
That right there, Joyce Edwards, just high IQ, finds her buddy, a Coates. She's having herself a game. Solid double-double in the third quarter.
Flau'Jae screening to Spring Jackson. This one pops out, and of course the Coat has the rebound. In front, good patience from Latson to let the flyby clear the area. Jackson off to Thomas, 5 left. Jump stop in the lane, too strong.
And whoever, Joyce Edwards comes up with the rebound. Nice dish.
Latson lays it in.
Whether it's an outlet, who needs a guard to outlet too? And Tessa Johnson just all the way off of Donovan, clogging up the paint, not allowing the passes to go into Fournier. But here, Joyce Edwards, she's gonna make you pick wrong. She plays under control. Nice dish to Latson. It just seems like every time South Carolina needs a run, needs a stop, needs a rebound, needs a play, Joyce Edwards steps up to the plate.
Here she is again with the catch off the elbow. Edwards goes to work. Good battle with Fournier. Toby came in top 10 nationally with 17 blocks before this game.
Yes, right there, staying up, not giving the ref an opportunity to call a foul. Great defense.
Here they are again, this time with help from Thomas. Nearly the same result. She draws the travel instead. Jackson, Fournier, sealed off on the baseline. Still plenty of time for Duke. Thomas shaken up after slipping. It's a 4-on-5 for the Blue Devils. Doesn't matter for Ashlyn Jackson. She hits a big shot. Dawn Staley calling her set from the hash. 3 across the foul line. Edwards walking in from the wing. Duke gets the stop. Nearly gave it away in transition.
Dowda checks in for Edwards. I got to think this is going to be a quick breather here just to get her rested to bring this game home. But again, Duke, a big possession here. Could get this back to single digits with a chance to cut into this lead.
Mayer coughed it up. Agat McKeer racing down the floor. The freshman could not finish. And she gives the frustration foul. Let's go back and look at the injury to Delaney Thomas. Oh, yeah, just got wrong-footed there in an awkward spill. Trying to shake it off with 6:21 to go. Meantime, Robertson on the floor in the lineup, taking her place. Fournier around the Coates, ran into the second defender and earns a trip to the free throw line.
The Blue Devils have had success getting the ball to Fournier to operate, driving, drawing, getting to the free throw line. She's got to knock these two down. She struggled for the line in this game as well as in the game past. 9 of 16, now 9 of 18 in her last trips to the line.
First of 2 for the reigning ACC Rookie of the Year. Two clutch free throws from Toby Fournier. 6 to go. In our second semifinal, Texas has advanced to the championship, able to hold off UCLA. The winner of this one gets the Longhorns. Raven Johnson, well defended, still has the dribble with 10 left. Mayer staying in front, forcing the foul away. What a possession on defense from Mayer.
Defense by the Blue Devils. Everyone stepping up, one-on-one defense, moving her feet. Mayer doing a great job. The denial on the backside by Nelson. You see right here, Raven Johnson has nowhere to go. Nelson denial, has to take this tough mid-range shot. Great block out. You get rewarded when you defend like that.
Aina Mayer initiating the offense now. Robertson, a clean look. Way too strong. South Carolina taking the challenge from Duke to extend its cushion with just over 5 to go. Deep in the clock, Raven Johnson. 2-0 Coates.
I was about to say, if that went down.
On the arrow, Duke will win it back.
That's it. Starts from South Carolina.
You got to wonder how long Coach Staley's going to keep Joyce Edwards on the bench. She's relied upon heavily for this South Carolina, especially their half-court offense.
We'll get a stoppage next whistle, maybe on the other side of that timeout, middle of the fourth. And Johnson with her hands in the passing lane. No points for Tessa Johnson, but still impacting winning for South Carolina. Off of 2 high screens. Johnson picking her moment to step up clutch.
And sometimes you have to call your own number. You got the steal. Tessa Johnson on the board.
Fournier does not have the answer. Robertson on the glass, also missing. Jackson makes the wise choice.
Smart play. The clock is on your side. And if you're Duke, you got to get up and pressure. The last possession was textbook defensive play, not allowing South Carolina to start their offense where they want to or get it below the free throw line.
Oh, Coates with the handle and the hoop.
But what a luxury to have. Put the ball in your post player. She operated from the perimeter on that one.
A devastating scoring drought for Duke. Right when they were ready to challenge South Carolina. At the line with Riley Nelson, who transferred from Maryland but sat out while rehabbing an ACL injury last year.
And Nelson, an efficient 12 points in 21 minutes. She's been a bright spot off the bench for the Blue Devils that have been in search of offense and spacing on the offensive side of the ball.
The loser will face a top 5 team in UCLA. The winner gets another top 5 team in Texas. Home run to Latson. Lays it up and in.
There. Look at Joyce Edwards doing the goggles. Nice drop. Dawn Staley taking a page out of the Gamecocks football playbook.
Fournier attacking. Ran into the help defender, and that's a block.
The South Carolina fouls number 5, Tessa Johnson. Her first personal.
First on Tessa Johnson. She thought she drew the charge.
And Dawn Staley looking at the replay, electing not to challenge. As this year in women's college basketball, you can challenge, but you lose a timeout if you are wrong.
The Auburn men off the bus. Pursuing a championship opportunity over in the men's draw.
The Auburn men looking good thus far. Played Houston really tight, testing themselves here in this players era. We've had some great basketball these last couple days.
Edwards had it poked away. Still ample time in the half court. The coach gives it back to her. And it falls. Joyce Edwards with what could be the finishing touches.
And what a luxury to have if you're Coach Staley, where you can do a big-on-big handoff on this side. You have to switch. Joyce Edwards taking on 3 Duke defenders, not shying away from contact. It's the evolution of basketball right there.
She and a code have combined for 42. 43. A quick 3 from right in front of the Duke bench goes Becky. Nelson off the mark and couldn't track it down. And as long as South Carolina manages the final 2:38 appropriately, we should be set up for Gamecocks and Longhorns tomorrow night.
And I can tell you one thing, if we do see the Gamecocks versus the Longhorns, it is going to be a physical game. Obviously, Texas a little short-handed in the front court, but goodness, watching Texas's defense up close, you realize what physicality really is.
Latson exploring off the bounce. Delaney Thomas got the stop defensively in the rebound. Here's Mayer. Rebound number 13 from Adina Okotes. Tessa Johnson, knockdown!
And there she is. Tessa Johnson doing a great job igniting herself with that steal earlier in this corner, calling her own number on that layup, and then on that 3, nothing but net. Shoot.
Edwards fighting for the rebound. The code has it for South Carolina. Gamecocks sensing they can cruise to the finish line now.
I think Coach Staley is thinking about tomorrow, going to clear her bench, get her starters some much needed rest here. They've carried a load. Edwards running the floor. Tessa Johnson, nothing but net. Knocks down her first 3. And again, huge numbers from the front court of South Carolina. You got Edwards, efficient 9 of 18. Okote, 11 of 18, 13 rebounds.
The 5th double-double in 7 games as a South Carolina Gamecock.
In 5 years in playing basketball. Incredible.
That's right, late to the sport as you already documented. Mayer, a nifty move, did not get the highlight. And Miriam Gouda among the reserves in to close this out alongside Maddie McDaniel. Final minute from Las Vegas. Again, we'll play 2 more games tomorrow. A consolation game between Duke and UCLA, and then it's South Carolina and Texas for the title. Adele Tack in closing time. Sophomore from Grand Prairie, Texas.
Oh, Coat goes out. You're like breathing a sigh of relief, and then in comes Tack to clean up all the misses.
Saw Coat there. She had 2 20-point performances all of last season. She's got 2 in 7 games already this season.
And it wasn't just in the paint, double Barry post-ups. It was operating off the perimeter. It was cleaning up misses off the glass. It was the activity running in transition. I mean, this front court right here, they have got to be circled on Texas's scouting report. Coach Schaefer and his staff have their work cut out for them, figuring out how to slow them down, not only in the offense, but once the ball goes off the glass, off the offensive rebound.
Jackson hits. That'll be a sub 40% shooting night for Duke. A bit of confidence going into tomorrow. About 6 seconds separating our shot clock and our game clock. McDaniel. There it is. The finishing bucket for South Carolina. A 20-point lead. They're going to move to 7-0. Challenge also undefeated Texas. Mayer. What a nice performance together. She'll finish in double figures. 11 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists for her. 83-60.